So anybody who was a Prime Point customer prior to November of 2018 is going to be in either a classic or a transitional UI, and you'll have a flag in your top corner here that says try our new look. Clicking on that flag will toggle you to the new user interface. Open the navigation panel, and in the search box type accruals and select the balance hyperlink. We will now want to configure the accrual balance report for the liability information. Clicking the ellipsis above the very last column will give us the option to add and remove columns. The columns in the right side of the screen are the columns that are currently in the report. We want to click the checkbox that says current columns, and we want to remove to get a clean slate, and then adding the columns that we want for this specific report. Using the search box and referring to the reference document, you can add the columns desired. So first I will type the word status, click the checkbox, and click add to add the employee status column to the report. Next I will start to type department, and I will look for the employee default department name field. Click the checkbox and click add. Next I want the employee ID. Click employee ID and click add. Next I'll type first to get the employee first name and add. I'll type last to get the employee last name, check the box and add. I will then start accrual and select the employee accrual profile. I'll start updated and check the box for updated to date. Type time space off. Select the time off. I'll type hours. And what we're going to want is we want the hours that are just remaining. So the system by default usually has the hours remaining, which includes anything remaining and anything scheduled in the future. By checking the hours remaining minus scheduled will only give us the hours that have been taken at whatever point we're going to look at this report. So that's the field that we're going to use, which is different than your normal accrual balance report. We'll then type hourly, which will give us the field option for the employee's hourly pay. This will be the field that would sync the rates from EHR that we had done in the last step. And then if we start to type BALANC, we should get the employee balance liability field and add. Once the fields are in this order, we're going to hit apply in the bottom right of the box. And we now have all the fields that we'll need for our employee balance liability. Next, we'll want to filter some of these reports so that we get just the information we need. So we're going to start by going to the status column, clicking on the drop down to open up the filter report. For this, we're going to use the equal operator, which is in the top box, and we're going to type active in the bottom, as we're only going to want our active employees in our balance liability. Next, we're going to want to focus on the time off and only include the time off that we need for our balance liability. In order to filter that list down, again clicking the drop down and changing the operator to in the filter box below, I have to enter the names of the time off exactly as they're spelled in the column, separated by a comma. So in this case, if I want sick, vacation, and comp time, I would type sick, comma, vacation, comma, comp space, time, comma, as that is how it is expelled exactly in the field. And when I click apply, it will then remove the other time off that is in the system. Finally, I want to save the report. So again, clicking on the ellipsis, I would check Save View As. so that I'm renaming the report to a different view. I would then call this balance liability and click Save and Run. And I now have a balance liability report. For the system. Again, our best practice is at the end of the year, on December 31st, or in the first few days of January, before we execute the accruals, we're going to want to export this report out to Excel once we're certain that any time off taken in the prior year has been entered into the timesheet in the final pay period. To export to Excel, again, I'm going to click the ellipsis. I'm going to check Export. I'm going to change the file type to Excel, and I'm going to uncheck the box that displays a header and footer and click on Export. This will now download the file. It will open up my balance liability report where I can continue to work in Excel if I need to.